Hello, welcome back. Brandon Media Strategies, session 5. We're starting new stuff this week and finishing old stuff. I hope you enjoyed your little week respite, and I hope you worked on your projects. Today, I'm going to do stuff a little bit out of order. I'm going to leave a lot till Thursday. I'm going to go over our lectures, and then I'm going to go over like what I'm sort of expecting for Thursday from you. And then, because I know the smaller assignments, these should be, you've done them 4 times. We've kind of talked about them, but I'll go over those more on Thursday along with the new big project, because we're starting something brand new on Thursday. But I want to make sure everybody finishes up and understands what we need to do. So as I said, we are entering session 5, but I'll talk about 5 and then go back to 4. Again, do your attendance. I'll talk about this on Thursday. See if it's the same question that we had in history. Start attempt. Oh, I don't have this one. I have this one set up differently. I have to change it. I don't know, like you click like one button. What is kerning? The horizontal space between individual characters. That's kerning. The space between paragraphs is leading. It's not the color fill, and it's not the angle of the typeface. So there we go. No, I got that one. Usually these are set up here. Exit, discard. I just go and fix that. Those little things bug me, which I should talk about is, oh, why can't I do one at a time? Cancel. All right, I'll just let that go. We'll talk about when we set this up, those like going back and fixing things and making sure they're perfect. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about all caps and centered text, because this should only take 5 minutes a piece, not even. It's a lot of these lectures that I do about the graphic design things in these courses is just about, mostly about stuff like to stop doing, like just don't do this anymore. Well, why is that? Because it makes things illegible. They're hard to read. I talked about paste and place, outlining fonts. Like that's a huge one. When I taught about how to outline fonts, it's because there's a reason. When you do it the wrong way, it destroys the typeface, which makes things harder to read. And that's the opposite of what we're looking to do as graphic designers. As graphic designers, we're looking to make things as easy to read and as entertaining as possible. So when we do stuff like outline the text wrong, and we don't have that outline behind it, behind the typography, and so it's not obstructing and changing the letter form, it makes it too hard to read. So that's what a lot of these, lessons are about. And so today, and these are things that you just slowly have to remember. Like, oh, they said don't do that. Just don't do it. Like, think of a different way. Oh, so the big one. This is the big one. Centered text. We always, beginning designers, default to centered text on a page because we default to this idea that centered is better. Ooh, it's all centered right down the middle, and that's like how it should read, and it looks good. It's like this simple, easy look good. The problem is it doesn't read good. When we're starting, when we have a ragged edge here and a ragged edge here, it doesn't help us read at all. We're accustomed to reading like this. We start on a flat plane and we go over and we finish on a word. So that's like the whole thing if I talked about hyphens. So we don't hyphenate. And so we want to make sure that 99% of the time for large bodies, that's it, large bodies of text. Titles, do it centered, fine, title. You maybe have a little small thing, fine. But when you're doing stuff like this just looks a little ridiculous. And I joke, it's like, this isn't a poem. We're not having somebody read it for a different, we want people to be able to read it clearly. And And to do so, we have it set up where we have this flat edge. I'm not looking, and my eyes are juddering all about to go in and out to read all this and then end really horribly too at these middle points. So don't center, align, body copy. Whenever you do body copy, left, 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 or right. Right's, I'll take right. So I'll take right. Right will look super rad sometimes when it's like butted up against something, you know. Well, these are all supposed to be the same point. But let's not do centered poetry where everything is down the middle and down center. We think it looks good. It may look fine, but it's not engaging. It's hard to read with a jagged edge on both sides. And we're looking to make things easier. Like I said, titles, fine. If you want to have a title centered on the top of the page like everybody else, do it. But we don't ever, like when we go through and when I look at like, you know, I'll show you, do I have these open? You know, these, I didn't do centered text. Like that to me doesn't read well. I want it straight on one edge. I want people to come in and know what they're reading. And so I just don't, like, you know, like I'm just going to do left the line, get it good. I feel like I should tweak this a little bit. And of the Summerfest. Now I moved it around. It's going to mess everything up. But just always default to the standard left align. And if you're doing a header, maybe centered, but never grab a body of text and just I'm going to do it centered. Think beyond that. Think beyond that early adoption of designing where we think everything down the middle, centered, looks the best. It's not as engaging. Oh my gosh. And then of course the one I want open isn't there. So why is that? It's just, again, because when we read books and we read a lot, it's always left aligned. You could do something. If you did something and it was like purposely done and you're like, the reason why I did centered text wasn't because I was looking to me, but if you like had something, well, I would say like oddly, if you were filling a circle, of course, centered text might look good. And your body copy was perfectly filling a circle, but then we got to look, making sure that we don't have weird, like a widow at the bottom. We have to update that. So you have to think about why you're choosing what you choose. And that easy default to like, oh, centered looks really good is like centered's not the way to go. Think beyond that. Now, the other easy one is all caps. Fonts that are all caps. Fonts that are all caps are fonts that aren't meant for reading body copy. Again, large bodies of text. That's what we're talking about. I do all caps all the time for titles. And that's it. I don't ever, and nobody ever does all caps for the informational part. This is just very hard on the eyes. There's no reason. Why are you yelling at me? It has connotations about yelling, urgency, things that aren't supposed to be there when you're trying to communicate to somebody and that you want it to read cleanly. So when you find a font and you're like, this is an awesome font, and you start typing it, it's all caps and they don't have a version, that is no longer an awesome font, and that font is just for titles only. Do they sell it as that? Like when you look it up and you go to DaFont or you go to, Adobe Font, wherever you get your fonts, it's not always going to say like this font is meant for titles only, because you're the designer. We want you to take control of that and be like, okay, oh, I see when I start typing, oh, it's not what I want. All right, go find something that works. Go find, body copy shouldn't be innately or, ornate typography anyway. It should be the easy part to read. All the flourishes, craziness is meant for titles where it's big and just a couple words. And you can get away with like, not even just like all caps in a title. Look, title. But you could do like, if I was like, type, oh, how do I do it? Oh my God. I'm teaching myself how to do cursive again. Like if I did that, typography, and I did it in really flourishing mode, that's great, but I don't want it here. I don't want it in the body copy. I had, there's just a lot of fonts out there that you shouldn't be using for body copy. I may have talked in the past, if I haven't already, about bold, really bold fonts shouldn't be used for body copy. It's too dense, too dark. We just want people to read the information like a book. We want them to be surprised by the other graphic design elements, but the type should just be easy, nice to read, easy on the eyes, and we get it. Again, titles, crazy. Background, crazy. But when it comes to the body copy, when we want to get that information across, contrast and clear and easy to read. So you don't do all caps. So don't use all caps. If you start it, you're going to hear from me and be like, make sure you don't use an all caps, blah, blah, blah. But the font is just all caps, then find a new one. Like that's it. Just get a new one. I do it all the time. Like I'll be looking like, oh, this will be a cool font. And I'm like, oh, it's all caps. All right. Then I'll just go search for a new one. All these little rules over time just become natural that you just don't do them. I never do a poster design. The first thing in my head is never centered. When I do typography, I'm always making sure no all caps, no all center. If I outline, I'm like, ooh, this might look good with an outline. I really think about it. I really think about that. How do I want to use it in my outlining? Why as I'm outlining things, just talking about the other one, I'm doing it as a graphic visual and not because I'm hoping it reads better. Like we never outline on body copy because we think it'll read better. Then fix the background. Your background's messed up. If you can't read the copy, your background is wrong. That's the bottom line to it. There's too much in contrast. Like if it goes from dark to light to dark, and you're like, well, I'm going to do bold, all caps with an outline because it'll read better. No, you just made it harder to read. Change your background. Fix it in Photoshop and then bring it in and then use a nice clean font. There's 1,000 ways. The typography always gets beat down first, I feel like. And instead of nobody looks at, well, what's surrounding it? What can I change about the surroundings to make the type read better, instead of going to the type and being like, I'm going to do all this shit to the type and then have it not look good. So no all centered text. And then no all caps. So those two things from here on out, I don't want to see them. And you'll hear about, I told people about those earlier anyway. So those are those 2 points. Look at that, perfectly 5 minutes apiece. But yeah, just stop. Not a big deal. All right. What to do? First big project. Now let's look at it. And I'm going to show you mine. It's not done. It's in process. I had to fix stuff. I had to go back. I had my margin showing. I didn't realize in the flyer that the margin wasn't set as a template. You need to switch that to a template. You need to fix things like, oh, that's the way it came. Don't do that. Fix it. I don't want to see the pink line. I was super far into this. It was showing for mock-ups and it didn't bother me. And then I got to my finals and I was like, oh no. Oh, and I was like, it's not set as a template. Just go in and set it as a template. I made these templates a long time ago. I don't know what I copied and pasted. That's part of like what you should be looking at as a designer If somebody gives you a messed up file, you actually should fix it and not be like, well, that's the way it came. It's the camping analogy. You leave it better than you found it, and that's what you need to do. So let's see here. Phase 4, which is the final phase. We are going to have flat designs in English and Spanish of a poster, a flyer, social media posts. The box art, my box art does not include the date. So I don't need a Spanish version. I need a Spanish version of my vehicle wrap because I include the date. And then I want mock-ups for both English and Spanish for the poster, the flyer, the social media post, and your box art if it has it. So step through this in your designs. And a lot of this comes down to now is just being organized. And for me, I'm just finding out like it's organized. And then I was setting stuff up and I was like, oh no, the margin is showing. I got to go back. And all it was opening it again, changing the margin layer to a template and exporting as a JPEG so I could import again. Let's show you my work so far and what I kind of expect for everybody. And guess what? The other thing I've been doing is I've been cleaning my artwork up as I go. I've been going to find things that are wrong and adjusting my text. I even went back to like phase 1 and made adjustments for this. I put my name down below. My name was up here. I was like, why is my name up with this? You know, Bubbler Summerfest ticket promotion giveaway. I moved my name down, like something I changed. Let's just go page by page. So Project A is phase 1. I added a space here. So now I have the research and the visual concepts. Here's my research and my visual concept. Concept 1, Hawaii calling. Concept 2, hand lettering. Concept 3, the bubble effect. Then this is phase 2. This one has logo variations, poster design, and flyer design. All right, so what am I going to see? My logo variations, here they are. Is that not linking? See how I see it's grainy? Why is it grainy? Oh, it may be, it is not that small. These are the things you should look at. If it looks like this and you export it and it looks like that, there's something wrong. Find out what's wrong. Find out why the JPEG is so low res. Like this shouldn't be that low res. It may just be, oh, my view preview on CPU. No. There we go. Overprint preview. It fixed it. So just make sure that things are set up. That may take more power from your computer, but double check those when you're looking at it. Like, why does it look crappy? It's your job to fix it. So logo variations. Here's poster number 1. Here's flyer number 1. Here, the margin didn't bother me. The reason being is that these were starting, these are still like mock-ups. I'm still going in through some design changes. I'm really hating how close I am to the margins on stuff, but I'll bring that in more. And there we go. Phase 3 is social media posts, box art, vehicle wrap, Spanish poster, Spanish flyer. Okay, let's see it. It's going to be in order. Social media posts, my box art, and my vehicle wrap, my Spanish poster, and my Spanish flyer. Again, here, it's not the finals. I have that margin showing, but I fixed it. Then we're going to go into phase 4. I'll have my English and Spanish poster, my English and Spanish flyer, my English and Spanish social medias post, my box art, and my English and Spanish vehicle wrap. Now, when I go through this again, this is the finals. So here's my beep. Here's the final English poster, the final Spanish poster, and then I need to do my mock-up. So the mock-ups, let's jump over to Photoshop. Now I've been playing around with some objects and items and trying stuff out. And I found this through Adobe, and it's a weird, I feel like I spent more time trying to figure out how to use this than I did mocking it up, which is because they have these like poster mock-up things that you can find online and where you drop in your image. But I was finding like, where do I drop in the image is really goofy. And I kind of been struggling because they're nice and they have this design here, like your design is supposed to go here, but I have my design done and I was having trouble. Like every time I tried to paste into here, it wasn't pasting. And I don't know if that's because it's set as a smart object. Maybe if I change this out, there's nothing to rasterize. Rasterize layer. Oh, so that's their design. That's this poster mock-up here. So what I did is, so if you look at mine, I'll undo that. So you can see what I did and what I found. And seriously, sometimes just going online and finding like posters on a city wall, like what I don't want to see with the mock-ups, we call them like smart design choices, is I saw it already. This one. This shows me nothing new comparatively to just showing you this, right? This is just flat. They can see it, they can read it. That's why we have it there. You know, like if they zoomed in, they might be able to read it well. When we go and then I show them a mock-up of the poster, just showing them the flat poster again isn't like putting it in, but these are like, put it in the landscape, put it somewhere where it looks like it's alive. This is what on the floor of somebody's empty apartment. Like, I want to see what does it look like when it's out in the public. How does that poster look, you know, out somewhere? Nobody holds a poster out in the middle of the street, you know, standing in the middle of the road. Nobody has their posters just on a blank wall. Put it out someplace where it's got some environment. So I found this one. It's all right. I've seen students use this one before. And then like what you do, and then this one, because I had 4 sets, I did English, Spanish. It's English again, and then a Spanish one. So I can pull my stuff from over here and I find my Spanish poster. And I, again, new to this, I think I was just able to pop it in and then resize it. So it put it one above the design. And then I resized it because it's got a mask, which works pretty well. And it's got all the wrinkly dinklies. That one goes like right to the edge. And then I'm going to eyeball that design off because I saw it was leaving some remnants. And there we go. Like, so I used one in which all I had to do was resize. And that's for the poster. So poster mock-up PSD. I can close that. I know where it is. And then this is kind of a horrible one, but this is for the flyers. I just thought I'd try something new. Again, not just having the flyers, I'm more open. I'll show you some other ones. I'm more open because there's 2 sides to having a plainer example. But I think posters on a flat background like this, there's no reason. Well, it's not really a mock-up. It doesn't show it in its, like in a setting. So now I can go to InDesign and I can go to poster mock-up. I'm gonna go to layers, turn everything off. Go to poster. I don't know. Didn't mean to do that. Have this. Make sure I'm on the layer. Poster, file, place. And now I'm going to open cloud document. It should be under projects. Working files. PSD poster around place. And OK. And then that place is in. And now I need to set it to normal so I can see my margins. And I'll probably put up that margin, and I'm centering it between the top and the bottom. And there's my mockup. Now I can go back to preview. And then so now I have, like as we talked, in order, English poster, Spanish poster, poster mockup. English flyer. Like I said, minutes before class started, these still had the margins on. I went and I exported again to make sure that they didn't have margins and replaced them. Did the Spanish, and now I need the flyer mockup. So here was one. Now, when you do the flyer, like here, if I do, it might be flyer postcard. You could call it a postcard. Some of these are nice. This is, this Adobe stock. This is where I find some of them. I always wish they were like more dynamic a little bit, like it is somewhere, but that looks like it's just floating there. This is kind of a nice one. This is nice. It's subtle. And then you just put your stuff on top of it. If it's a high enough res, this is pretty low res. All we're doing, again, is to show it and give it some life. It's really a selling point to clients to, like, before it's done, you can be like, oh, and here's what it might look like in real life. And they're like, oh, wow. Like, it changes the psychological thought about what you're doing. I did find, like I said, I found that one. It's adjustable. Like things like the shadows are like so dark. But let's bring one in. So I'm going to bring in Spanish front. So if I go, what I found with this one is if I bring in the front, okay, and then I need to size it. I'm looking at my crop marks, and I'm going to go, it's not perfect, so I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Distort, and I'm going to pull this corner out so the corners match. I'm, again, looking at my crop marks, and I want my crop marks to match. Oh, Edit, damn it, Transform, Distort. Like to be kind of as close as possible to like where they would naturally be. Why do I feel like I'm just moving in? It's not distorting. I'm too far in. Like, zoom out a little bit. Just double check I didn't ruin my work. No, it's not too bad. All right. So that's how you do it. And that's distort. And then all you're doing is pulling corners. This could come in. And it'll get the perspective right. I don't use perspective ever. Now, I just hit OK on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this mask into that. And I'm unsure what the smart filters were doing. And I don't think it's needed, but then you can see like it's really blown out. So this, I was like, what if I adjust these? Like, maybe that's just even too much. I just turn that off, texture. I sort of like it without those filters on it. I think it looks much better. And then so for the background one, I'm gonna find this. Well, let's go here. I'm going to make sure I'm on my layer because I need to use that mask. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to adjust, bring it in, get one corner. I'm going to have to guess. So if what I'm guessing at is that I want to predict where this corner is and this. So I'm going to plus. Oh, it only works with a mouse, I think. If I click, shift, and then I click. So I'm just trying to find the approximate place of where that edge would be if it was in perspective. You know, like I went a little down. Let's bring that one up. Like I started high and I started drooping. So that should be good. So I can delete those marks. I hope that makes sense of what I'm doing. Oh, oops. Cancel. Delete that layer. Yes. So now I kind of know where I want it to go. So then I go back to this. I go to Edit, Transform, Distort. And then I just start working with my crop marks again, getting my crop marks approximately as if they would line up. Much easier to do it further back out. I was too far out the first time, and then it's much better this time. I feel like this needs to get pulled more like that. All right, that looks pretty good. And then we can do that cool thing where I can grab that mask and pull it onto there, and then it masks it out. Zoom out. And there we have it. So I do File, Save As, save to Adobe Cloud. I want my project A, working files. This is flyer, mockup, SP, SP 26. So it's Spanish. SP is for Spanish, so it's 26. Save. And then I could just, for mine, the front stays the same. The back changes. You can't even see it, but I'll do a second one. I won't do it with you. We'll keep going down the line because I want to show you how to do the box again. So flyer mockup, I go make it, I have a flyer layer, file, place, and I'll add on to that. So I'm going to go to, I use my cloud documents, project A, working files, mockup, place. Okay, click that. Ooh, it's a big one. That's good, high res. Bring it down to 25. I may even crop in. That's the other one. If your image is tiny in the middle with a whole bunch of surroundings, I don't want to see that. I want like zoom in. Like I want to see, I'm more, you know, like we want the atmosphere, but I don't need to see everything. So that's what I'm looking for. Make this bigger. Because I want to see what that looks like. If I had it the other way, those cards would be really small in there. And I'm going to get it nicely centered. And then, so for this, I'm going to change the title. And I can do Spanish, right? Or hit a soft return. And I can bring this down. And I can use the same mock-up. And all I'm going to do is go to pages, duplicate that page, and put it above because I want to keep my order. So I'm going to go to the top one. Change this to English. And all I have to do is update the replace the photo, make a brand new photo, replace that background, and pop it in. I don't have to do anything with the designs or nothing. So then that means I'm at a point here where I have my English poster, my Spanish poster, my poster mock-up. It includes both English flyer, Spanish flyer, English flyer mock-up. I will adjust that. Spanish flyer mock-up Spanish, social media posts, and social media mock-up. So I should do the Spanish. I have to do the Spanish version, which is for me switching out. And I've done this already. So this is, I can bring these down. I'm going to grab this and this. Sometimes this final presentation setup is the one that takes the longest because you're organizing everything in your design, but you're selling it to the client. You're selling it to your future employer when they look at like, oh, okay, wow, okay, it's all organized, it looks nice, they knew what they were doing. Like that's what this is about. And it's practice, it's design practice. Social media posts, English. Done. I'm just gonna copy that, move it up to where it needs to go. And then I'll do Spanish. Knowing that I need to go back, switch these out. The great part is I can, because of the way I develop these, and I'm using interchangeable, I'm using the CC libraries, I can actually click on this, go to replace with library, go over here, and it is this one, and then go to relink, and it updated that. If I click on this, I go to update from that. I look for the yellow one and I'm hovering over the name. I'm looking for the one that says English, that says Spanish. And I go down to relink and it updates that one. So I'm starting to use the new features within these programs, which takes a second to learn. But then once you do this and you start using libraries, it can make a lot of the work easier. There's once in a while, there's an extra step involved where I will export the JPEGs to my desktop, then put them into my Creative Cloud library, but then they're all set for me. Instead of me going to then edit, paste, place, I just did it there because the libraries won't accept a layered PSD file yet. Like they're still developing this process, this library system. But I have found that it works very well, and it like updating images is much easier. So use that where you can. Social media mockup. I found another one of these things that I've never used before, and it's this. But this again, I just have to place my squares in. It's a little tall. I made mine squares. So I go to my library and I can just pull these in. So I'm going to make a new layer for images. I will save this file, save as, and I'm going to make sure I know what it is. Save to cloud storage. I'm going to go to my projects. I'm going to go to working files. And this is Instagram mock-up SP26. I'm gonna hit save. I gotta add bubbler at the beginning of all those. And now I just go to my libraries. I don't know. I gotta put my libraries in the same place on both InDesign and Illustrator. I'm starting to get bugged by it. But if I just do English, I just bring one. Does that resize it? 1, 2. That's a huge mock-up. 3. Let's zoom in. And I'm just gonna start, placing these in. And then for this, I'm gonna look at it. I haven't looked at these yet to know like what's what. So like, am I supposed to place stuff behind it, in front of it? That doesn't work. This is all one item. I don't, care for that either. So all I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna clear that off. I am gonna work behind, and I'm gonna create a square or a rectangle. And that is the size of that window. Now, if I grab the image and that rectangle, even without seeing it, I go to clipping mask, make, and I pop this to the top. There we go. There's my first post. Now I'm going to draw the squares. The thing is, the rectangles need to go in front. Do this one and this one. So I just need to hold down Shift, make them bigger. Oops, I moved that one. Grab them both. I'm double check. I can go in and edit this. So File, Edit, Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And then I can use my other tool and get these centered better, get them how they will look in the real world. Now, I posted, I don't have Instagram on my phone, and I post for the school to Instagram, and I post everything. It's all squares. I'm unsure of like the rectangle. Is it really a rectangle these days? It used to just be a solid square. I need to look that up. And then we have my final one. Grab them both. Object, clipping mask, make. And then I can size as need be. Oh, I want it a little bit smaller in there. Get that done like that. And I'll do one more mock-up later. So this is the English, and then I can do that library switch out where I do the links, and I can relink to the library. This is just the English one. And so for this though, I'm gonna hit save, but I'm gonna export as a JPEG. So I'm gonna go to export, export as. I'm gonna export it to my desktop, JPEG, use all artboards, export, RGB, max, it's 150. This is a big file. And I'm gonna hit OK. Like I'm making sure that this is, 150 or 300, not doing anything lower. And I'm gonna hit OK. Now, I'll close out some stuff and show you what I do. Here's my Adobe Creative Cloud setup. And where is my mockup? Here's my, oh shit. I have the sort by none. There we go. There's the one I just exported. So if I go to my files and I have a project, and my project is GRDS 142 Project A, and I click on that, I have this library, and I have English finals, Spanish files, design files, fonts, and I know this goes to the English finals, and I'm just going to plop it in. Move that over. I don't think the arrangement totally matters, but now when I go to InDesign, I go to layers, I go to my social media mockup, so I'm going to switch that off. Oh, and let's do, I got to do 2. English. And I'm going to go to Instagram. I have a layer for Instagram. And then here in English finals, boom, there it is. And I just have to drag it over. And so I know where it is already. And so I'm just going to do that. I'm looking at that corner. I'm going to go to 25. And I'm going to do 25 again. Because I can always make it bigger. And I'd rather see it all. And then I'm going to go to free transform. And do it nicely. I'm looking at the gap here. I'm looking at the gap there. When I say gap, this area and this area, kind of get it centered. And there we go. I got that one done. Now I went over this, and this will be the final thing before I let you go, is the box art. And what all you need to do is open one of the old box art. Oh, shoot. I always say old shoot because I think I threw some things away. Downloads. Let's see. I was doing some cleanup and I was like, you don't need that stuff. Throw it away. Bubbler box art. Oh, it seems empty. Okay, that's empty. Give me a second. Now I'm just looking to see if I can just see an image that will work. None of them are there. Oh, here. Oh, I did this. Okay. So I have this from the last. Okay. So this is, I saved it to the desktop instead of saving it to where I should have saved it. So again, this is so simple. And I did it with screenshots. You can do it with export as well. So what I'm going to do is go to Illustrator, in the file, go to my projects. No, it's right there. This box art right here. So here it is, and I can export that. I'm going to export it as a JPEG. You go to File, Export, Export As, and I'm going to do a JPEG. Looks good. Export, replace. I know it's on my desktop. That's why. RGB, 150 minimum. Hit OK. And then now I have that, and I can open that with Photoshop along with this file. So let's turn everything off. This is the box art that was included in your initial design parameters, where I had all those logos and all those can art. This was one of them. And so I am going to simply just bring this in here. And we have to adjust for colors. The colors came out different. But that's all fine. And I'm going to make it big. Bigger than I need to, knowing that I can make it smaller. That's pretty good. All right. It's nice and clear. So this whole image needs to be adjusted to get those blues closer. So I'm just going to go to image. I'm not going to use the layer version. I'm going to do the image curve. Let's do this. Let's see if it affects everything. All right. I want it closer. Doesn't have to be exact. Or nuts to that. Let's do, what was this curves? Turn that on. No, that just made it milky. Let's do one thing at a time. All right, I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna do the marquee, and I'm gonna grab the front of the box with my marquee, and I'm gonna copy and paste. That gives me this layer. Now all I have to do is match corners. I go to File, Edit, Transform, Distort, and I'm gonna match corners. And just double click. And so now I'll do the image adjustment. So I'll go here. Color balance. Open way over there. Oh, I need to make sure I am clicked on just the layer below. And then we'll do the color balance. And just kind of see if we can get it more of a turquoisey without ruining it too much. Really kind of messed up that. That looks pretty good. I mean, that's nice and clear. And then we just do the same with the top. And so I have this, I can use this again for the top piece. So I go to this box art, move it up so I can see it. No, undo that. I don't want it linked to anything. Then I'm going to take the top. I'm going to use my marquee tool. Get the whole thing. I'm going to copy and paste. Turn that one off. This gets flipped around. See how it's reading forwards? Then I'm going to place it in there. Edit, transform, distort. Just match corners. Double click on it. So I match the corners. So whatever, that's great. And then I should be able to, it is like command, nope. I always forget. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting which key it is. I'll just double it up. That one to that one, that one, that one. Make sure that they're both turned on and only to the lower guy. There we go. And then I'll save that, File, Save As, and this is my box art mock-up. So this is a little bit about organization in general and just like knowing where all your stuff is and setting it up and putting it in there. There we go, save. And then when I go in the InDesign, I scroll down, I have my box art and my box art mockup. That I can place because it's, if I don't want to monkey around with the going off, I can go to File, Place, Open cloud, projects, working files, Butler box art, place. Okay. Make it smaller. I don't know why I chose 35 that time. Huh. And there you go. Nice and big. And there we go. Oh, and the vehicle. You see my vehicle? Here's my little vehicle. I have to do the vehicle twice. I have an English and Spanish version because I have the date on the vehicle. There's my vehicle. So give yourself time. Don't wait until the last minute to do this, is all I'm going to say. I don't know. Combine this hour, half hour, 45 minutes. I spent an hour earlier. Actually, I was finishing my vehicle. There were some glitches with the vehicle that took me longer than I thought to do. Then I, saving, exporting. I double checked my my presentation to make sure it was all good. So that is, again, what's due for Thursday. To get that done, Thursday we're going to move on to a new project. So it behooves you to get this done. So you're not like, oh, I got to finish this other one and still work on a new one, because we're jumping in, and it's we jump in to the new one and we just move along. So there you go. Any questions, comments, or concerns as of now? All right, you know where to reach me. I'm around, and yeah, that's it for now. So I look forward to seeing what everybody did, and I will, if I don't talk to you on the discussion boards, I will talk to you on Thursday. All right, take care. Bye-bye.